So yes, welcome all. This is a demo session for Power BI course. We are starting off with a batch. So we have it every month. So we are starting off with a new batch in the coming week. So this is a demo for Power BI. So to help you understand uh, on a high level, because being a demo, it will be high level on what exactly is Power BI, what are the different key points which you should be aware of a Power BI, and of course, you should be knowing who your trainer would be for the course, right? So yes, my name is Santosh, and I'll be the trainer for the Power BI course. And to talk about myself, I have close to 20 years, getting into the 20th year, to be precise, 19 years of IT experience. I've been predominantly a data guy, be it data engineering, data analysis. So I have built data warehouses bottom up, right from scratch, greenfield implementations, worked on a lot of transformation programs where we need to move stuff from customers on premise to cloud and all. So I've been mostly a data guy. Just give me one moment. Yeah. So yes, and predominantly into AWS cloud, Azure, and Snowflake recently in terms of cloud technologies and to keep up with the latest technologies, right? Like I've done multiple certifications, almost advanced level certifications on AWS, Azure, um, because we are now moving towards a greener, sustainable environment. So, lot of proposals which come to us where we pitch in with our customers, we need to bring in that blend of sustainability into our solutions which we deliver to our customers. So, on that regards, I have done like a sustainability diploma from Stanford University, and a lot of technical certifications, lot of learnings which I implement in my projects. And the one which will be relevant for you would be this Power BI data analyst. So recently it was something which was pending for a long time. So I just couple of weeks back I completed the Power BI data analyst associate certification. So Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst now. So this course would be around Power BI. I'll like people who are interested to go for PL 300 data analyst associate certification. I can guide you. Okay, I can let you know what kind of commonly asked questions come in, and this course is around like not completely devoted to a certification, but yes, it will make you ready in terms of being job ready or project ready or interview ready for a Power BI data analyst opportunity. Okay, so lot of agenda item. Generally, I keep these for our first module, so I'll not be going through complete all these details. But yes, definitely we'll cover most of them. And again, for people who have just joined in, I'll request you to please put your email ID on the chat window. It will help us to answer any of your further queries. That's what I was told by our Aristotle team to collect. Please, if you can put your email ID just to me, you can just from the drop down select instead of everyone, you can just select to me in case it's okay for you. All right. So going at Power BI, right? What is Power BI? Now, theoretically, we have a lot of things to talk about what is Power BI, but when you see actually Power BI is this. Okay, a report. So this is one report which we have generated. Okay, it talks about the overall revenue for a particular business case. Okay, so Power BI, right? It is all about measuring the performance of your businesses. I get this question asked in my sessions that okay, Power BI is relevant for which domain, right? And my answer is every domain who wants to know about their business, and practically all domains would like to know about their business, right? Be it healthcare, be it finance, be it retail, be it any other domain, right? They like to know at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of month, quarter, year, how their business is performing, what corrective actions they need to take in order to ensure their business is performing good compared to the peers. right? And how do they get to know about their business performance? It is with the help of report, right? Even when we were kid, we used to get report cards, right? We even get the report card now in the form of appraisals, right? All of us working out there, we know that we get our report card in terms of appraisals, right? The same thing. Business want to know about how the business is performing. We give to them in the form of a report. So this is a report. It has different features, right? You see there is an overall number given, then you segregate into the regional part, right? Then you segregate based upon proposals, pipelines. So there are different matrix based upon which you will segregate your report. This is a heat map which we'll talk about your split region wise, right? It talks about, again, split region wise, but again here it is mostly to each state, right? You can filter along these. You'll have different filters out there, okay? uh, right, currently it is for all the states. Now if you want to select just for California, right, it'll zoom in only for California, right? If you just want to do it for Florida, right, right, it talks about Florida. So you're doing a drill across your report. When you give a report to a business user in a form of a mail, it becomes pretty static, right? But when you give a link to a report, okay, so what happens? You prepare this report. How do you prepare? Of course, it will be part of our routine sessions. So once we prepare this report, right, you have a dashboard. So generally, what we do, we prepare a summary page. This is a summary page. Then you have a detailed page, right? If you go to the next page, it'll detail out. It'll detail out, and if business want to do further drill down and detail out what exactly is happening around, they can go to the detail tab and do it. Because mostly this request comes from business that, okay, you prepare a dashboard for me, all right, and if my team wants to look into further details, they'll go to the detailed tab. All right, so we generally prepare a dashboard is nothing but when you combine together everything in a single view. That's what is a dashboard. All right, now I want to see for a particular product code. Now if I want to look for some other product code, you just put all the filters here and you can look into the dashboard, right? But again, for a particular product code, if business wants to go and have a further detailed look, so you just bring it on here, right? And you ask them to put those filters, etc., to have a look. Okay, so you prepare a report, you'll give them these kind of revenue by segment, etc., all these things you'll give them. Now what happens is you publish these. Okay, there's a option to publish. Okay, and you make this link available to your business users so that they click a link and they'll get a report with which they can play around. They can put those filters, etc., whatever they want. They can play around with the report which you have. So when I say play around, right, play around means they can just put filters if they want to select for a particular state, for a particular region, for a particular product type, for a particular categories. All those drill downs, filters, cross filters, all those they can put themselves if we publish this and send it to the business users. Okay, so this is when you click on here, you'll save it, and when you will publish it on cloud, that is done by something called as a Power BI service. Okay, so two components of Power BI. One is Power BI desktop. Now what I'm currently doing, whatever report is being currently prepared, see, you'll use this data, you'll use this graph, you'll use all these filter conditions, all these you'll be using to prepare this report, and you do that in Power BI desktop. Okay, now you have prepared the report, you've calculated measures. So here you can see there's a tabular view, there is a data model, right? All these things will be there. Now all these happen on a Power BI desktop. Now once everything is done on desktop, what we do is we make it available on cloud so that people can access by just a click on a link, right? That happens via the publish option here. You publish it to the Power BI service, and after that the business users can use it, and you can also set up some alarms, schedules, so that the report goes every day at 9 p.m. Eastern time to the business users, right? Those alarms, etc., can also be set up, right? So the course we have designed in such a way that will start off from knowing about Power BI, right? What are the different components which we need to know. Then what are the different views you have, what are the different components, etc. we have in Power BI. So it will be mostly hands-on, right? You need to know about few theoretical details to do hands-on, but it will be mostly hands-on. And that's where, like, there are courses where you see project, etc., which is at the end and all. But right from model one, we go ahead with the projects. You will have because what I do in my training is I impart what I have learned over the past 20 years, right? I don't have course modules built that, okay, module 1 I have 30 slides, module 2 I have 40 slides, and then I go through all those slides, and then I go ahead with the projects at the end. No, the project goes on the scenarios what we work in project. So this is a report which is taken, the kind of the data might be here and there, the numbers might be different, but this is a template I use in a project. So when I prepare this report with you, when you prepare this report with me, it is one project which you're working on, right? For me, it is one project which you are working on, because this is what exactly a report I have created and I have sent to my client. Okay, so the course which we do is mostly hands-on based. Now, to and this is a eventual output which you will be delivering. So as a Power BI analyst, if you ask me what will be your output, this will be your output. This report is what you'll have to develop. For this, a lot of work goes inside it. You'll have to understand the data. First thing is you'll have access to this data model. Okay, you'll have to understand the data. You'll have to understand the relationship between those data elements. You see, you have account ID, so you have an account table, you have a sales table, dates table, sales stages, lot of tables are there, opportunities, product. What are these tables? How to understand the relationship between these tables, right? What are fact tables, what are dimension tables, what are measures? Lot of things are there. Okay, so if you look into a course, there's some updates you will see happening to our uh, one moment. Yeah, I have done a little review on our course, and there's some updates which will happen to the course which you see on our portal. So you see, like, we introduced so this is going to be updated in the website soon. So we'll talk about Power BI, what are the different components, etc., which I'm doing right now also. We'll go into the further details on model 1, and then Power Query, right? How do you clean, transform, and load data? Okay, see, before we come to this particular report, there's a lot of things which needs to be done. What is the data which is coming from the sales table? Is it clean or not? Is it relevant or not? Right? Is there any hierarchy to be set up? Is there anything to be done with? Sorry. Yeah. Is there anything, any new measure is to be calculated, right? Is there any new grouping is to be done? All these brainstorming happens prior to creation of the report. When you have the data model, so when we say Power BI, right? Power BI is a tool. Just like Excel you have, it's a tool. But to understand the underlying data is also an important concept. To understand the relationship between your data elements, because see how the requirement comes in. Requirement comes in that, okay, prepare me a dashboard which will publish 5 key performance indicators. The indicators are sales by category, sales by region, so on and so forth. You will be just given this problem statement in your project. It will come in the form of a business requirement document. You can call it as a functional specification document, whatever, but you'll get a document in which will have a requirement stating that, okay, I need these KPIs to be present in the report. Right now, to publish these KPIs, to prepare these KPIs, what we'll need data. Right, you'll have a data engineering team which will help you to get that data. Now, to understand the data, to understand the mappings between the data, relationships between the data, hierarchies, grouping, all these you'll have to do yourself. That is what a Power BI or any other data analyst or a needs to do. Okay, so this is what we understand here. Okay, so here you take a simple table. In model 2 we don't go ahead with multiple tables, but in real life scenarios, in actual project implementation, we'll have multiple tables. So what we'll do, we'll start off with a single table. Let's say we'll just take a sales table with no relationships around. Okay, assuming you don't have any background in Power BI, right? You are coming from a non-technical background. The course is designed in such a way we cater to the needs of all kinds of audience, right? You might have exposure to database, but yeah, you'll have to maybe consider those few days where we start off from the basic as a revision. So we start assuming you don't have any background, and we take up one table. Okay, we prepare a report. That's where you get acquainted with all these things, right? What is direct query, what is filtering, removing and order conditional columns, right? All these you'll get acquainted when you just take one single table and prepare a report. Your first report connecting to database. So database predominantly will try to see if it's SQL Server. So yeah, just add one thing is that SQL Server or SQL Lite. Okay, on dbeaver. Dbeaver is a interface where you can fire queries. Okay, so we'll be connecting to flat files, okay, Excel files, raw files as input, or also will be connecting to database, which will be SQL Server. Okay, so you'll connect to a database, pull up a table, and you'll prepare a report. That will be where you'll get acquainted with all the different icons, which one will be used for which reporting, right? What kind of visualization we can take, what are the different formatting options available, how you can transform data, right? How can you create a quick measure? So you'll get acquainted when you take up one table and you prepare a report. Now once you're comfortable preparing a report with single table, we'll move to a practical implementation in projects where we use multiple tables, right? Now for understanding the relationship between the multiple tables, you need to understand data modeling. Okay, how dimension modeling is done, what are facts, dimensions, and measures, what are cardinality, what is cross filtering, right? How do we create hierarchy? All these we will discuss in module 3, which will be around talking about the relationship when you have more than one table to deal with to prepare your reports. Okay, and then there are a lot of things which you can customize, right? Which we call it as data analysis expressions. So you see this particular final option here, DAX query view. So if you want to create some formula, okay, suppose I take a very simple example. Okay, you have a customer ID, customer name, and customer age, customer date of birth, okay, which you have pulled in here in your input data. Assume you have a table which has a customer ID, customer name, and customer date of birth. Now your business told that in my final report, in my whenever you are calculating a KPI, I don't want to see the date of birth column. What I want to see is an age column. Okay, so what you do, you create a formula to calculate age from date of birth. That will happen in DAX. Okay, direct expressions. It helps you to create additional columns which will have some kind of a formula. If you want to have a percentage profit margin, right? So you'll have a profit divided by total sales. That will be a profit margin. If you want to calculate new formulas apart from the ones which are mentioned in your data element, you can do so using DAX. Okay, earlier DAX is a kind of pretty recent uh, feature which they have added. Earlier we were doing the same thing using measures. You create a new measure, you add a formula just like we do it in Excel, right? You add a formula, validate it, and you'll see a new measure coming up here. Suppose if you create a new measure, right? Give it a name, measure. If you don't give a proper formula, it will not come. So like, let's say a sample measure. Okay, I'll just equate it to 0 for the moment, right? So you see a sample measure, something like this has come in here, right? So, and it will come as a with a symbol of a calculator, which means it's a calculated column, right? So if you need, depending upon your use cases, you want to create new columns which you want to show up in your report, you can create it using a DAX query view and also the measures here, right? So this is what, and you'll have to do that, you know, mostly you'll have to deal with new additional columns. So you have a separate model which will talk about how we can create new columns which can be reported, right? Using like what are the syntaxes, what functions, operations we use for creating those DAX expressions, right? Mostly, like in every report, you'll have these kind of um, matrix which business will ask you for. They will ask you for YTD sales, means year till date, how much they have generated revenue, right? And they also want to do a comparison to this year compared to last year, first half, H1 2025 compared to H1 2024, right? So year on year variance, right? All these time intelligent functions will also be part of the DAX, data analysis expressions. Okay, so we'll learn about calculated measures. How do you calculate different new additional columns? And then visualization, right? How you visualize your, how you create your graphs, the way you see it here, right? What are the different graphs you can use, what template suits which requirement, right? What are the different techniques to create appealing visualizations? What are the do's and don'ts? See, one tool tip I'll give you here. Here you have a revenue column. I mean, in this particular donut graph is there, donut chart, and it has three categories, right? You have a small and medium segment, strategic segment, and there is a large segment, right? Now assume instead of these three segments, if you had 10 different segments to be reported, does a donut chart make sense here? If you had 10 different segments to be reported, or for that matter, does a pie chart make sense if you have 10 different segments to be reported? Will it?
No, sir.
No, right? Because it will be difficult to understand the segments, right? If it is 3, 4, 5, okay, you can clearly look from the different sections. But if you have 10 different sections, this might not look this might not be relevant, right? So which graph to use? You can convert it into something else. It may be a bar graph, right? Okay, I cannot edit this report at this moment, but yeah, instead of this, you can convert it into a bar graph if you have, or into a, you see here, you have a column chart, right? Or you can select different type of graphs from here. So how to create visual appealing graphs, right? One graph which looks good here might not look good in the problem statement which you are solving, right? So which graph to use in which scenarios? All these kind of visualization techniques we'll discuss in the end. What is the order, what are grouping and binning will do. And finally, Power BI service introduction. So once you're done with the Power BI desktop, right, once you learn how to create a report, then the things is pretty simple. You just need to publish the report into a SharePoint link, into a shared repository somewhere from where your businesses can take the link and use it. Okay, that is how Power BI works, and that will be our course. Okay, so this has been aligned in such a way that we keep it concise, we keep it to relevant to the point what you need to know from a project perspective, and for cracking interviews what exactly is required is what we have crafted together in this Power BI course. Okay, now generally I do keep slides. I share it with people who generally want to have documents and all those, but I use less of slides in my regular sessions and more of the tool, so that you can also practice alongside me. But yes, because it's a demo, I'll just go through a few of these slides. So yes, we know what is Power BI used for. Obviously it is used for reporting, right? You create reports, um, you share. So once you create reports, right, you obviously are sharing insights. Your business get to know about how it is performing, right? If you get to know about uh, that, okay, my large business is performing, so my strategic business is performing at the tune of 3.83 billion for the particular year. Now this helps your senior leadership to set the target. There are a lot of action items which can come out from this particular graph. One action item which they generally do is when they look for a annual revenue, they set the target for the next year. Now if in the current year, or let's say in 2024, or in let's say in 2025, the strategic businesses, they help them with the revenue of 3.83 billion, right? Next year they'll keep a target of, let's say, 5 billion by looking at these numbers. Now how do they keep these targets, right? We provide them these numbers, we provide them these visual graphs which helps them to chalk out their marketing strategy, their business strategies, their future plan. We say, right, 3-year roadmap, 5-year roadmap, how businesses do that. They do based on these reports which we give to them, right? They look at the current numbers, they look at the different features, the buying pattern, the different demographic, political, geopolitical situation, different other factors are taken into consideration, and based on these numbers, taking these numbers as reference, it helps businesses to take informed decisions about their future, right? So that's what it mentions, that okay, once we share insight, it help our businesses for decision making, right? We collaborate, we sit with a domain experts, we sit with a business analyst, we tell our businesses that okay, this is how your business is currently performing, these are the places where you need to fine tune for a better future, right? So this is what Power BI is used for. It has a lot of core components, okay? Power BI desktop, as I told, Power BI service is for sharing and collaboration, right? Your majority of the time, I can say 90 to 95% of your time will be on Power BI desktop, right? Power BI service is mostly for collaboration. We use it when we are working in a project setup where we have multiple teams. So you, when you publish a report, right, you'll have an option to publish it in a Teams location also, where your team members can look at your report. So it's mostly to do with collaboration. Okay, and then Power BI Mobile. Power BI Mobile is a feature, but we'll not be covering in our course because nowadays everything is mobile, right? So the link which you create, the Power BI desktop, the report which you create, it can also be viewed in a mobile, right? So you see here, it will have a, so we created a desktop layout, right? You can also do it in a mobile layout, right? This can be put in a mobile layout and can be published. It is as simple as that. But because we are all on a desktop, right, we will be focusing on the desktop only. If somebody needs to put in a mobile, if that's a requirement from your project, you simply develop in a desktop layout, you convert it into a mobile layout, and then you publish it to your users. That's how you do. But our course will be predominantly focusing on desktop layout because it's same. It's if you're on mobile, you want to create a report on mobile, go ahead, do it. But for me, I'll be more comfortable creating a report on a desktop, right? But yes, when coming to our course, we'll be focusing on the desktop look, mostly because it is easier to work on a desktop, right? Yeah, lot of use cases across industry. We'll be talking about the use cases in detail around retail industry, around financial sectors. We'll be talking about in these two domains in detail when we start off. But yes, there are a lot of use cases where I would say all the businesses, right? All the businesses use reporting in some form or the other. But yes, it will not be wise to say that okay, all businesses use Power BI, because you have other reporting tools also available in the market. You have Tableau, you have when I was working for Apple, Apple uses an in-house reporting tool called as Coda, CORDA. I don't know, it was 10 years back. I don't know whether they use it now or not. So people have their in-house products, right, where they uh, do reporting, but everybody will have some or the other reporting tool to know about their business, right? So if somebody, again repeating the point, which use case is Power BI relevant for, I'll say all use cases. Any domain you work, you will require a reporting tool to know about your business, right? A business is very in its initial phase, they don't have money to buy the licenses for all this reporting tool. They will do their reporting in Excel, but definitely a reporting will definitely happen, right? So Power BI is something which can be used across industry, across domains, right? Then data connectivity. So when you connect to Power BI needs what? Essentially, you need data. So there are a lot of data sources with the advent of social media, with the advent of internet spreading across the globe. You have lots and lots of data available freely for business consumption, right? Y- a tick which you give on X, right, or anything which you post on Instagram and it is publicly available, can be used by organizations to know about, to do their research. Customer segment analysis, sentiment analysis, right? What is it? You a particular retailer has launched a new product. They advertise it on their LinkedIn profile, they put it on their X platform, they put it everywhere on social media. People react to that, right? People put comments on those. What happens? Teams take those comments, they do those web scraping, they take those comments, and then they do those analysis, right, to come up with the report which will say that hey, this is the sentiment coming out about the new product. Let's tweak it, let's do whatever. Let's, if there's a negative promotion coming in, negative response coming in, people tend to postpone the promotion launch of that particular product, right? Think of ways by which that can be, things can be done better before we launch that product. So all these things go. Why am I talking about these here? Because it talks about different data sources which you have, right? Lots of data sources available, and that's where you need to know how you deal with those multiple types of data. And this is where you see this particular view, right? The model view comes in handy. You might have these all tables coming from different sources, so understanding the relationship, right? Understanding the cardinality, understanding which KPI to take from which particular table, all these are very important. Okay, so yeah, we connect to different data sources. Then transformation, like merging, data cleansing. You will have a team of data engineers. Okay, generally they are supposed to integrate the data, transform the data, but at times, everybody doesn't do their job 100% accurately, right? So there can be instances where you get impure data coming your way. Whatever data comes in here, it might not be clean, it might have some issue. So we should know how we can transform our data, how we can clean our data, right, before we put it for, bring it up for reporting. All right, so we'll see a few things about that. And then of course, uh, schedules can be set up so that continuous monitoring can be done. I remember when I was working for Apple, whenever a new product is launched, an iPad or an iPhone would be launched, Apple managers would like to see an hourly report, right? They would like to see how their stores are performing on an hourly basis. Multiple reasons for that. Of course, performance is one of the reason. They want to know how the response is. Response will be huge, right? It has always been the case. Latest iPhone launch, response is huge. But what is another thing which helps our Apple managers to plan the inventory accordingly? We have these e-commerce platforms coming in recently, right? What it helps them now is when we give them an hourly report. Suppose at the beginning of the day they had kept 1,000 iPhones up for sale, 500 at the retail stores, the physical brick and mortar stores, and 500 up to be sold through the, um, let's say, those e-commerce platforms like Amazon's and the other e-commerce of the world, right? Now we give them the hourly report. After an hour, 2 3 reports came in, and they are seeing the response is that the sales through the e-commerce platform is more. People are ordering more iPhones online, apart from rather than going to the stores and buying the iPhones, right? So now at this moment they just have 1,000 iPhones to be sold. Okay, rest all are in the production lines. So they plan their inventory accordingly. We gave them a report that okay, there is response from the e-commerce platform is more, so they'll plan their inventory accordingly. Rather than having 500 iPhones in each of these inventory, the physical stores and the Apple's, the e-commerce platform, what they'll do that okay, let's tweak our inventory. Let's have 800 iPhones in the inventory for delivery by the e-commerce platform, and at this moment let's keep 200 for to be sold through the physical stores, right? And then the second step would be to do a deep dive analysis that what was the reason, right? What is the reason that the sale through the Apple store is less, and what can be done to boost those sales, correct? So this is one use case where we use continuous monitoring when a new product is launched. Or if you talk about Cox, right? I work for Cox Communication, T-Mobile, right? These are the different communication provider you have. We have reports generated which will give them the health of the routers in a particular location, how the base stations are performing, is there any down, is there any server down, is there any network tower which is not working properly, right? All this continuous reporting, real-time data updates can be made available via reports, right? These can be done via reporting. Okay, so it helps businesses to take informed decisions, and it also helps businesses to take quick decisions also. Okay, there can be scheduling done when you publish report, when you have these things done, right? You, when you publish report, it is mostly to be present in the paid version. When you purchase those enterprise editions, the high tier 1 licenses, you'll have those options where you can set up alarms so that the job will run every 30 minutes, every hour, and it will publish the report to the business users, right? So this is how real-time updates are possible. Okay, and yes, data modeling, as I told you, you'll have multiple data sources to deal with. So we will talk about data modeling. How do we understand data model, right? As a Power BI specialist, you need to understand the data model, because data models, as soon as you import your data sets, data model will be created by default. But for you, an important thing is to understand the data model also, right? And that will be done in data modeling section. Data cleansing is also another part. DAX, right? We'll use a lot of DAX to have custom calculations done. You'll not have places where the calculations will be straightforward. So a lot of custom calculations will be required, where data analysis expressions or DAX will come in very handy, right? Because of the response which we have in DAX, right? That's where this new feature has come in recently, this particular DAX query view. Otherwise, earlier when I used to create reports, we'll do that using new measures and quick measures. So you'll get to know what is the difference between a new measure and quick measure. All this you'll get to know. So yeah, that is about DAX and creating interactive reports. I asked you that question, right? That donut report. Does it make sense when you have 10 different categories or segments to be dealt with? Probably not, right? So we'll discuss a lot how we can create appealing reports, right? How we can create effective data presentations, right? When you are using a time series data to be visualized, you always use a line graph, something like this one. If you see this line graph, line chart will make sense when you're dealing with a time specific information. But right, something like this, line and stack chart. But when we are dealing with some categories, bar chart will make sense, right? All these different scenarios is what we will be also covering later on. So how you customize your reports, how you build your effective dashboards, all this will be talking about. Okay, then of course, how do you share your report using Power BI service. And then yeah, advanced analytics is something which is not part. I so what basic analytics etc we can do. So it's more about reporting part, but there are few things which we can do analytics too. Okay, some forecasting and all we can do that. Okay, this is our current trend. What could be the trend next year same time? So that also will go on a high level. But yeah, as it is detailed out in this slide, advanced analytics will be covering at a high level, not going into the further details. Okay, so yeah, this and few more, Power BI service will be touching upon. Mobile, we are not. Security and data governance, cost and licensing is also not part. Community, right? Why people are going towards Power BI? It has a very strong community. I started working with Microsoft product. I'm a big fan of Microsoft product. Okay, the when I started off around what 2007 8 time frame, that time one community which was very vibrant was Microsoft community. Whatever question you have, you post in a Microsoft community, you'll get an output quickly, right? So they have built upon their community. They launched Azure last decade. They have Power BI. So they have a lot of community which is engaging people. You drop in a question, you have people answering those questions. You have a huge number of resources which can help you to learn things apart from the course which you current which you will be potentially enrolling for. So lot of learning resources, lot of training materials, lot of vibrant community you have for any tool of Power Microsoft, and specifically as we are talking about Power BI. So Power BI also, it has abundant resources. You have a lot of materials where you can do uh, hands-on. Okay, lot of reports which Microsoft has kept on shared repository, which you can, which I'll show when we start off, which I'll show those reports. It'll help our to select a template when you're working on a project. It'll help you to select, okay, this is my problem statement. This graph looks, when you have a catalog of reports, right, it becomes easier to visualize and prepare your report. So all these are publicly made available by Microsoft, and we will be discussing those things in detail also, right? So that is one more reason why people switch to Power BI. Community forums and user groups, as I said, right? People keep on sharing, just like you have for Stack Overflow and all. So it is a vibrant community which you have for Power BI, and of course, support and all the products provide. And yes, we'll be dealing with a lot of real case use cases, and that is not a separate topic altogether. It will be right from the scratch. When we talk about a particular topic, when we do an hands-on, it will be based on what I had done in my previous project, uh, where I have implemented data warehouse, data analytics, and all those stuffs. Okay, so yeah, what I have learned lessons, what are the best practices which you can use across in industry for preparing Power BI reports and all, I'll be sharing in detail. And of course, concluding that, yeah, data analytics is all about creating a scalable and flexible report. See, as I told right in the beginning, when I showed you this report, what businesses at the end looks for a report where they can look into different options. Earlier, like gone are the days when I'll give them this view and business will be happy. Now they want, okay, this is the overall view. Now suppose I just want to look for California, right? Just like I put that filter, right? Suppose if I want to look for a particular region, how can I do that, right? So they for a particular month, right? Let's say for April of or December of the year, right? Or if they want to do it for a particular, I want to see all those opportunities which are less than 20K USD, right? So they want flexibility. The businesses, they need flexibility in their report so that they can dig down further to a particular region, they can dig down to a particular category, and they can get their output. So that's why the aim is to have a scalable and a flexible report. Okay, flexibility is the key. So when you prepare a report, you need to keep it as flexible as possible, so that at this point in time they had asked you to only give you a total opportunity count by region. Now suppose if they want us to give a total opportunity count by country, okay, they should be able to do by click of a mouse, right? So that's where we say we make eventually the aim is to prepare a report for sure, but a flexible report, right? Also, scalable means today I'm dealing with 10,000 records. Assume the data sets which I have it here, right? We deal with, where is the modeling view? You have assume 10,000 records to deal with. Now, if this exaggerates or if it bubbles out to, let's say, 1 billion records, so is my report performing slow or is it performing fast, right? Is it scalable enough? Is my report scaling to that huge data, or it has crashed, it is slow? When a business user clicks on a link, he doesn't get the data, right? So that's also an important part. With the access to huge amount of data, preparing a report is an important thing, but at the same time, what is more important is that you keep your report scalable. You need to obviously prepare a report which will give you actionable insights, right? Use a data analytics tool or Power BI to do that. But what sets us apart as a service provider is that your reports should be scalable and flexible. Business should be able to do whatever they want to do with their report, and with huge amount of data. And this last section which you see, it comes with experience. I'll be sharing reports you can build. You can get these learnings from everywhere, right? You'll get these, but the final part, how you can build a flexible and a scalable report, is what comes from experience when you have implemented a lot of Power BI projects. So that is what I'll be sharing in the concluding part, right? So this is about the demo. Talked for what, close to 50 odd minutes. I'll pause here. So yes, it will be close to 5 to 6 weeks of session, and all these modules will be covered. We'll have projects alongside each topics, right? Do we keep it sections for the sake of creating a course content, we keep project at the end, but yes, I go about doing it with the modules, right? We create a report, then we learn a few new technologies, we create few additional features on that report, so we evolve, right? And that's how we work on projects alongside the concepts which we'll be learning. So yes, this will be the course, and this is pretty much which I have for the demo. Any questions you can please feel free to ask me, and we'll be starting this, I think, from next week is what I was told. We'll be starting off a new batch. And of course, in case if you want me to tell you something about PL300, uh, if you're planning to do those certifications, because I have completed my certification also recently. This was pending, and I had done lots of certification, but Power BI was pending. I was not getting time because I was implementing a lot of cloud, like data modernization requests came in from multiple customers, so I was busy for that. So thought of completing my Power BI, completed recently. Lot of questions are fresh in my mind. People looking for PL300 certifications. I'll definitely be able to impart that knowledge. What kind of questions can come in? Okay. So yes, this is where I'll pause and I'll open the forum for questions, if any. And again, thanks for sharing your emails. If others who have not shared the email ID, if you can just share it across, it'll help the HTK team to reach out to you in case of further questions. Yeah, please, Ruli, I think you have a question. No?
About the classes schedules and the job placement.
Uh-huh. Schedule would be around this time itself. It'll be 8 p.m. Eastern time. Uh, Maybe 1 hour here and there, but yeah, it'll be around evening EST. That will be the timing. And for the placement of job assistant, yes, HTK team do help on that. So like that's what we are asking for email IDs. We do provide that. We do have like experience kind of things which are taken care. So yes, that is something which our team can further detail out to you in terms of the placement part also. So I'll help you to become project ready, job ready, and regarding the placement, we have our team who will be helping you definitely for that. That's how they are in this for almost what 20 years. So they do assistant placement also. Okay, we
And
have.
how many
Yep.
days in a week will be the class?
Generally, I take it 5 days a week. Okay, but again, it depends upon people whom I finally get in the batch. If they're looking for a 3 days, alternate days, it depends, right? When we form a batch, right, and depending upon the mutual everybody's agreement, generally I take it 5 days a week. But if people want they have their own work and they want to have it alternate days, we are flexible enough in that part to keep it depending upon the entire audience. If everybody is okay with alternate day, we keep it. But how do we start off? We'll start off with 5 days a week.
So look like it's 3 or 4 weeks session. I mean, the course will be complete in 3 or 4
It will be
weeks.
5 to 6 weeks generally. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Including your job placement, resume updates, like you'll have uh, those like project names which will be provided to you. Considering all those, it takes close to 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
Now, please, do you help with resume
Yes,
creations?
definitely. Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do.
All right, good.
Yeah. You we do I do it like I help it for all the batches. So if you see, there is this one data analyst batch which I am just recently completing, and we help them on there, like you see sample resumes and all are there. They share it in Word format. I ask them, generally they share it in PDF. I say okay, share it in Word, and then I update and I'll share it back. And we also discuss what are the key pointers which should be there in your profile, uh, which is required, which let's see if I'm a recruiter for Power BI, because I'm in industry for almost what 18 19th year it is what is running. For the sake of calculation, I say 20 years, so it's precisely 19 years. And I'm part of my recruitment panel. Now when I get a resume, there are a few key pointers which I'm looking for. So what are those key pointers which is required to be present in a Power BI resume? I'll help you those to keep it. Also, if you're coming from switching domains, right? I have people who are coming in from tech support, right? They were in a like troubleshooting some profile and they want to switch to a Power BI. So whatever they were troubleshooting, right, those only we can take it as a KPI, and we can have a report create or a resume created in such a way that it is not completely irrelevant from what you are doing earlier, but alongside that it will also have a flavor of Power BI also in your resume. So yes, to answer your question, you will be certainly helped on resume building also. Do I have anything here? Okay, I don't see a link handy now. So all the sessions get recorded and we upload it in a SharePoint link, and you will be given just one link. Okay, and every day's recording will be in that same link itself. Okay, so you can that link will be provided once to you, and every day when the session happens, that recording will be uploaded in that link for your future reference. In case you happen to miss a session or you want to go back and refer to the recordings, it will be there. Every session gets recorded and the recorded sessions get uploaded in that SharePoint link, and the link will be shared with you.
Okay.
Was that your question, Nalini?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Any other point? Okay. If it's a no, then we can close the call and hope to see you in the regular sessions. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.